Hello, and thanks for joining us at Continuity Conference webinar series. My name is Serio, and we're talking about something a little personal. All plan for disasters. I've seen them in the news, all kinds of disasters, the dust and rubble, fires, tornadoes, hurricanes, things like that. But sometimes you get hit with a personal disaster, and that's what we're going to talk about today. At this time, with the pandemic happening, a lot of people have been dealing with their own personal disasters that have impacted themselves, their families, their businesses, where they work. We're going to talk about a situation today that I went through, and hopefully it can give you some insight and give you some learning points here, and you can take away some nuggets of information so you can make your experience better if you ever have to go through it. So back in 2003, I was offered what I call my dream job. I was offered to head up the business continuity program at Office Depot. The position was in Florida, and I was living in New York. But it allowed me to move to a new location, but it also allowed me to be in charge of a crisis management program, disaster recovery oversight, emergency preparedness. We also folded in our international planning and framework for our European businesses out in the Netherlands. We made this a world-class program where we had a lot of media outreach, public awareness around it, and basically became the SMEs. And I don't like that term, but basically became the subject matter expert for disaster programs in the private sector. And it was a wonderful, great experience, opportunity to build a program from the ground up, and everything was going on. Now, the reality, though, is that in 2008, just 5 years after I started and we had built the program up, we had the economic downturn. Remember that? We were impacted in the workforce at home. The economy just took a tank, and many companies had cutbacks, as Office Depot did. We had several rounds of cutbacks in our stores, in our warehouses, and then, of course, at our corporate campus. And that impact of the financial impact was the basis of the reality. So I felt sucker punch when my boss came in with the HR woman to my office and said, "Hey, your job's been eliminated, and thanks, and here's your hat, and time for you to go." So it was a pretty hard hit here to my psyche, my ego, and everything else. But there are a few things you would need to learn there. So yeah, it's a sucker punch because you're a hardworking person, you're a company person, and you're there. But it felt like there was no respect for the hard work that was put in. But you have to understand that there was an acceptance to it. A lot of people were going through the economic turmoil at the time. A lot of people were being downsized. A lot of companies were laying off. And you had to realize, just so you can get through yourself, that it wasn't personal. It wasn't about my performance. It's about business. It's about companies whose numbers were going downhill so fast they didn't know how to stop the hemorrhaging. And they had to lay off and reduce their staffing size. And departments that basically were non-revenue generating were actually looked at first for the most part and cut. And our business continuity program there, myself, I had one person working for me, was cut. And it was tough. 30 years ago, when somebody talked about loyalty, about working in a company, oh yeah, work for them for 20 years, you'll retire with everything. Well, loyalty is not the same now as it was way back when. And you've got to understand that. So that personal disaster hit me on November 5th, 2008. I was laid off. As I mentioned, my boss came in with a woman from HR, told me he's been eliminated, and I asked several things as in, is it negotiable? No. Are there other positions I can apply for? No. If you want your money, you've got to sign here on the dotted line. So basically, it was like, okay, take it or else. Now, don't get me wrong, the company is very generous. I have a nice little severance package. They have some money, some health coverage, some outplacement services. So that was all great. But the reality is, it hit personally. There was a level of personal impact to that. I had to take a few minutes there where I had to compose myself, and just a very short time, by the way. But hey, okay, this is really happening. But you need to understand that it's not because of you. So I signed my paperwork. I got my severance pay. I got my coverage there. But one thing they also, many companies do this also, is that they offer outplacement service. And I'm going to tell you this, here's your first takeaway. Outplacement services as much as they're offering. First of all, go in there with your head high. Do not feel ashamed. You're not in it alone. It's not about you. It's about the company. It's about business. It's about the financial climate of the country. And you're not in alone. I walked in that first day to a meeting, the general, they were having an orientation meeting, and I walk in this room. I'm looking at people that I know from the company, and, from Office Depot. I'm like, you're here? And they look at me like, what are you doing here? And there were some vice presidents, there were some senior marketing or managers, and surprisingly enough, they look at me like, hey, you're the business continuity guy. What are you doing here? Who's minding the shop? I'm like, I don't know who's minding the shop. I can't worry about that right now. I've got to focus on myself and figure out what I've got to do. So as I mentioned, don't be ashamed about it, okay? A lot of people are thrust into this situation, and it's no control of their own. You're not alone. You need to take the energy that these people bring to the table and use that to your benefit, and take advantage of any services that they want to put out there. Because I'm going to tell you right now, don't wallow in self-pity, because nobody cares. You're going to tell people, oh, I was just laid off from my job. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sure something come around, this and that. And 2 seconds later, they're up to something else. They forgot about your situation. And you can't sit there saying, woe is me, because sitting there does nothing for your future. Sitting there with a negative attitude does nothing for your psyche, okay? You can't sit there and say, oh my God, I have this self-pity, this puppy dog eyes. That is not effective. So I'm telling you right now, don't wallow in the self-pity. You've got to look forward, okay? You've got to figure out what is going to be next. So you want to maintain a positive, proactive attitude. Hey, people will pick up on that. Hey, I was laid off, but you know what? I'm going to find a job. I'm out there pedaling. A lot of people know me. My name is out in the industry. I've done a lot of great work. Something will come up. And you know what? People pick up on that. I was, at the time when I was laid off, I was heading up a chapter of the Red Cross here in Florida. I was the committee head for one of our programs. And I told my group, there were about 20 people who were on the board. And I told them what happened. And they're like, I can't believe they were telling me, I can't believe that you're so positive about this. I'm like, well, I can't be negative about it. That doesn't get me anywhere. If you're positive about it, people will pick that up and then realize that, hey, you know what? I may want him on my team. They're in the face of diversity and they're being positive about it. They're looking for the future. They're looking for the brightness of it all. So maintain a positive, proactive attitude. That's very important. Let people know what's going on, okay? You need to sit down and say, okay, there's a lot of this happening in the industry. And believe it or not, back then in 08, as is now, it's accepted. Oh, I'm sorry you laid off. Because people know it's not about you. It's not a performance thing. It's about, hey, we had a pandemic. We're shutting down business. You're laid off. You're furloughed. You're terminated, whatever it may be. People know what's going on. So let them know your situation. Let them know you're looking for a new opportunity. You want to keep your family informed also. You've got to tell the kids. Okay, you got to tell the spouse. Don't think that you can get away with that. You've got to let them know what's going on. You got to regroup with them. Your siblings and other folks, let the family know what's happening, okay? So you can set the expectations. One of the first things I did when this happened, I got the family together. I told them what happened, but I also told them, I said, look, for the time being, we're not going to be doing any extra spending. We're going to cut down on the takeout dinners, and we're going to cut down on shopping for niceties and things like that. We're going to pay the bills. We're going to protect ourselves. We'll get through this, and once we get back to the workforce, we will pick up on those nice things again. So let them know. But here's the big thing. Congratulations. You are now the CEO of your own company, You Inc. Okay, and the job of your company is to find that one client that will buy your product, which is you. Okay, you are now the head of the company that has to find yourself a job. Okay, so congratulations, you are the top dog. Okay, you are in charge of this company. You have to make sure that this company works out well because your future is dependent upon it. So take that in mind and get yourself thinking, okay, that's my job now. My job is to find me a job. Right? That's got to be part of your attitude. That has to be what's helping you drive drive you every day, getting up out of bed. Oh, I don't want to get up today. You know, there's nothing out there. No, your job is to find you a job, and that's what you're going to do all day. So what you also want to do is take stock. Okay, know what you have in value. It could be a home, it could be cars, it could be assets, it could be the money you have in the bank, retirement plans, and things like that. What kind of money do I have? Also, then conversely, you have to know what your expenses are. You know, you may pay a monthly rent, a mortgage, kids school, braces, things like that. You know, you got family stuff going on. You've got to know what that is. You've got to take those pluses and minuses and understand what your exposure is, right? Because when you don't have an income or you're on a limited severance, which may only last a couple of months, you have to plan for the future, because the biggest problem about this is you don't know when that next job is going to happen. Is it 2 months down the line? Is it 6 months down the line or longer? Okay. During this pandemic now, you know, we had no idea. We still have no idea when this is going to be over. Is it going to happen now? Is it going to have to go another 5 weeks? Is it going to be a second or third wave? Okay. So you really got to figure out what you've got available to you, what you can cut back on, reduce your expense, maintain your cash flow, maintain any other income you may be able to get, and protect yourself. So one way you can do that is call your accountant. Understand what the tax implications are. What happens when you're unemployed? What happens when you're looking for a new job? My understanding, and I'm not a tax guy, so don't take this verbatim, but check with your accountant, is that in the old days, any expense that you incurred to help you find a new job, like getting resumes printed or getting headshots or things like that, those kinds of expenses were a write-off against your taxes to help find you a new job. So you want to talk to your accountant and understand what the implications are. You know, oh, I'm going to get unemployment, and that's great, but is unemployment taxable? Is a stimulus check taxable or not? Okay, don't get bit later on thinking, oh, I got all this money from the government, and then next year's taxes, you got to pay tax on that. Okay, so you want to understand what your exposure is there. One of the biggest things I can tell you right now is you need to stay in a business state of mind. Okay, you're in business every day. When you're out of business and you want to get back into business, you need to keep on living the business. Okay, stay in that. When the pandemic happened, when the economic downturn in 2008 happened, many people have told me, still tell me that, oh, you know what, I can use a couple of weeks off. I'm going to take a vacation. I'm not going to do anything. Wrong answer. This is not vacation time. Vacation time comes when you land your next job. Okay, when you say, okay, I got a new job, I'm going to start July 1st or August 1st. Well, you know, take the time in between now and then to use for your vacation time. This is not vacation time. This is the time you need to be working as a CEO of your own company to find you a job. Okay, another thing you can do is wake up at regular work hours. Okay, do something. Okay, keep that schedule going. Not only for you, but for the people around you. They have to feel like you're still, you know, an integral part of this thing. If you wake up every morning at different times, come down, you got your shorts on, your hair's a mess, you rumble around for your coffee or whatever, that's not a good sign for yourself. That's not good for your head. It's not good for the people around you. You know, even to this day, even with everything going on, I'm usually up by 6:30 in the morning. I'm usually up and out by 8 o'clock in the morning. Even if I don't have anything to do at home, I'll go out to the Starbucks or one of the other local places, and I'll get online and I'll have my coffee there and get online and peruse the job sites and things like that. But that gives you a mission every day that allows the people around you to say, oh, look at he's doing something. He's out there. He's looking for a job. He's networking, he or she, by the way, and they're being effective. Okay, you're doing your search immediately. When I was laid off in 2008. The same day I was laid off, I got in my car that afternoon, I started making phone calls right then and there. The emotion was over, okay? The emotion, I had 30 seconds of emotion when my boss told me I was being cut, and that was it. As soon as I got in the car, I started making calls, letting people know what was going on. Hey, we just had major layoffs. I'm back on the market. Let me know if you see anything, okay? Because you need to let people know that, but you also need to get your feet on the ground quickly. Why? Because there are many people who are out there looking for jobs. Okay, and you've got to stay one step ahead if you're going to find that next big job for yourself. Manage your anxiety. Don't let this consume you. Don't let this run your life. Okay. Yes, you're the CEO of your company to find you a job, and yes, that is going to be an all-consuming task. But don't let it consume you to a detriment. Don't let it take over your life. Don't worry about every little thing. You know, if you're out there working every day trying to get this done, you know what? It's okay to stop working at 5 or 6 p.m. It's okay. I did my task for today. Tomorrow's another day. I'm not going to worry about it. Go down. You have dinner. You watch what you're going to do. Many people that are high strung right now, if they're being cooped up for weeks and months, and they don't know how to manage anxiety, and it becomes a mental health issue for some people, and then it becomes a post-traumatic issue for some people. So don't let it overrun you. And as I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you keep that positive attitude. Okay. The other critical thing is don't burn your bridges. Don't display public resentment. Don't be turning around saying, oh, the company sucks, they got rid of me, I hate them, this and that. You know, these companies hired you, the company paid you a lot of money for the time that you worked there. You know, the best thing to do is not burn the bridges. Don't be resentful for what happened. You still want to show that you were a company person, that the company, you know, by no fault of their own, had to let you go, but you know what, you loved working there. You know, you want to keep it as a promotional type of thing. You want to understand also that it's, you know, companies have certain obligations, and then there are not other obligations. You know, most companies in most states, rather, companies hire at will and fire at will. You know, they don't have to give you a reason why they get rid of you. Okay, so you know, there's not this thing that they owe you an explanation or owe you this or owe you that. Okay, it's an at will. Most states are at will states where they can hire or fire you at will. But you want to keep on showing your professionalism, because you never know who may have that next contact for you for the next job. So nowadays, it's a little tricky because a lot of people were cut, a lot of people were let go already, a lot of people are sitting home trying to figure out what their next job is going to be. There are times, though, prior to you being cut, that there are some people still working, of course, that may get cut in the near future. But before you let go from a company, there are certain things you want to do. And one of the things I did was made available the contact information for some of my coworkers and some of the outside vendors and contacts that I have built up over the years. You know, I collect a lot of business cards during conferences and meetings and things like that. Well, I'll tell you what, you know where those business cards are? They come to my house, okay? I put them in my system so the company knows who they are, and they're in my contact list and things like that. But I also take the card and I take them with me. Why? Because that contact I may be able to use in the future. Okay, it's not stealing company information. It was given to you. Okay, but some of these people may be key people for you to reach out to and say, hey, you know, okay, can you do me a favor? You know, I'm out here looking for work. I know you're in this industry. You know, can you keep me informed if you see anything? You know, and utilize it, because you've got to take advantage of anything you can. The other key thing here is, and a lot of people don't do this properly, is you've got to remove your personal information from your company computer. Okay, that's great before you let go. Here's the problem: when they call you into the office and they lay you off right now, 99% of the time you cannot go back to your office. You can't go back on your computer. IT's already locked you out. They took your badge away and all that kind of good stuff. So you may have personal information on your company computer that you may not want somebody else to see. Maybe you have your tax information out there. Maybe you've got contacts out there, pictures, or whatever it may be. First of all, company property is company property. Okay, even though you may put your own personal information on there, they have no obligation to let you add it. Okay, what you want to do is back it up on a regular basis so you don't lose that information or get it off there in the first place. Okay, it shouldn't be on there. Years ago, several times, what I would do, I would bring in a hard drive, connect it to my laptop, and download all my personal stuff off the company computer, and then delete it off the company computer, right? Because I don't want it sitting on there, because you don't know when they may take that away from you, or you don't know when it may crash on you. I mean, if you leave it on the C drive, that's great, but the company does not typically back up the C drive. You know, they back up network drives, so there's no obligation for them to protect your data either. Right? Any subscriptions you have, any publications you get, any groups or organizations that you're members of, you want to create a list, so when you are let go from your company, you can go back and reestablish yourself with those organizations by updating the email address to change it from the company you used to work at to your own personal email. Okay, this is one way that keeps you in the loop for what's going on at these publications and these groups and things like that. And now it directs that information from them to your personal email and not getting lost in the company email that was just shut down. And you want to expand your marketability. Okay, you want to make sure that people understand what's happening here. You don't want to be pigeonholed. You want to expand what you can do. In the business continuity field and the disaster planning field, we are closely aligned with risk management, with insurance and things like that. So, go out and learn about that. Go out and understand what those connections are, and utilize that, because that may be where the next job is. You're a disaster planner. You're looking for a job as a disaster planner. You may not find one, but you might see a job out there for risk managers who have an understanding of disaster planning or business continuity. So there's a connection. Okay, now you may be able to go out and feel comfortable enough to go out and look for a job in risk management, right? So learn the other fields and see what else is out there. Okay, so you're out of work. You were laid off. Now what do you do? Okay, you can go home. Like you said, you can wallow in self-pity. You can cry a little bit. But you know what? Get it out of your system and get it out quick, because that doesn't do anything for you. You got to be creative. You've got to get ahead of the game. You got to get ahead of everybody else. First thing you want to do, and typically an outplacement service, if you're lucky enough to get that as part of your severance, they will help you. But you want to create an elevator speech about you. Hi, who are you? What's your name? Tom. What do you do, Tom? Here's a 20-second, 30-second elevator speech about what I do, what I've done, what are the highlights of my career, okay? And you're letting somebody know. The problem here is that 9 times out of 10, if I ask somebody to give me an elevator speech, they're going to fumble, they're going to talk about things that aren't important, they're going to take too long, they're going to be stammering, and I did this way back, I don't remember when it was. No. You get, one chance to make a first impression. Okay, you've got to have an elevator speech. You want to talk about you, who you are, what you've done, and you know what? If you're going to specify something that you've done, give some proofs about it. Okay. Well, I've gone through a number of hurricanes down here in Florida. Great. So proof is I went through Hurricane Wilma, and to support that, I say, well, we had a disaster on campus. We had to implement all 35 business continuity plans. So yes, I've gone through a real disaster. Okay. So I told them what I did. I told them how we did it. Let them get something to bite their teeth into. Like, give them something and say, oh, tell me more about that. And there's something unique that maybe they had never heard from anybody else. Okay, but create that elevator speech, because you got to sell yourself. Create a past employer speech. You know what? Office Depot was a great company. I love working for the company. We're effective. We protected our customers, protected our employees, we protected our facilities. It was a great opportunity. Unfortunately, I was part of the economic downturn. But if not, I would have loved to stay there working for the company. Okay? Don't badmouth your past employer. Even if you feel like you want to, don't do it, because somebody who's listening to you will pick that up. Office, they got rid of me. I had no reason for that. I was mad at them. I don't care if they shut down tomorrow. Don't give that negative vibe. Say positive. You're trying to sell yourself. You're the CEO of your company, remember? You need to network. You need to get in front of people. You need to let people know who you are, what you do, and not patting yourself on, look how great I am. Is you want to let people know what you can do and what you can do for them. Why does somebody want to hire you? Okay, well, because I can bring this to the table, because I've done Six Sigma, because I've done this, because I've recovered from disasters, because, and put that out there. That's good. That somebody's going to say, oh, I want to talk more about this. Evaluate your contacts. Okay, get out there. The people that you used to hang out with, people that you used to communicate with, keep on communicating with them. Okay, and let them know what's going on. Here's the funny thing. I've got a lot of contacts, and I wanted to put a message out to let these folks know that, hey, I was out of work. Just laid off, this and that. Company was great. They had to do it, da-da-da. But, I'm out looking for a job. Now, I created 2 lists. I created my A list and my B list. Okay, my A list were key people that I thought could be effective in helping me get my next job. Those are, a small group of people. And then everybody else fell in the B list. Well, I sent my B list a general email. Hey, hey, Tom here, and, the company just downsized, I'm out of a job. If anything comes up, why don't you give me a holler? Very casual, very, non-committal, things like that. Kind of like, okay, now you know my situation. Here's my personal email if you want to get a hold of me, and left it at that. But I went back to my A list. Okay, now I got laid off in November. 2008. I said, well, I'm not going to email my A-listers right now because we're coming right into the holiday season. Most companies don't hire around this time of the year. I said, let's get through this. Let's get through the holidays and see what happens. And I'm going to email them beginning of January, which I did. January 2nd, I sent out an email to a list, 20, 30 people. Hey, and here's what happened. You know, I am in the industry. I am looking around. I'm willing to relocate if I need to. Here's what I can do. You know, I've got some severance. It can last about 4 months. You know, if you hear of anything, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to work through you if there's an opportunity. I can do consulting. I can do full time. I kind of put it out there saying I can do almost anything. Help me make that connection. And I sent out that email on January 2nd. January 4th, I get a phone call from my buddy in New Jersey. Okay, I'm in Florida. He's in Jersey. He said, Tom, I got this company. I'm doing some consulting there. They're looking for a guy. You're perfect for the job. I'm going to get your resume in there. And that's how I got my next job. All right, through somebody else who knew somebody else who was looking for somebody else. Okay, so network. You know, be persistent, but don't be a pest. Okay, get involved with groups. If you don't know how to talk and speak in front of a group, you need to talk to. You need to join like a Toastmasters group or something like that, where they will show you and educate you on how to do public speaking. Yeah, that is a trait that not everybody can do. Okay, it's a lot of value there. I do public speaking. I speak at conferences. I do these webinars. I'm a little rusty right now, so I apologize. But get out there and network and learn and do what you can, because you don't know what it's going to take for you to get your next job. Okay, so you're out of work. Here are some things you can do. You can do these things on your own. You can do them through your outplacement services, but don't be afraid to to stay engaged in the game. Okay, but you also need to reinvent yourself. Okay, understand who you are. List out your personal strengths. What's good about me? I'm a great speaker. I'm a team leader. I can manage a group of a dozen people. You know, and then you want to put out what your weaknesses are. You know, I'm not good at writing. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. And those are the things you may want to work on during this downtime. Okay, but you want to make sure that you can accentuate things and keep things positive and show your strengths. Expand your personal capacity and draw some parallels. I mentioned before, you know, in the business continuity world, there's a lot of parallels to risk management. So you can delve into that a little bit. Exploit those resources that are around you. You know, you've got people that are either knowledgeable or in positions of either power or can put you in front of other people. Utilize them. You know, hey, you know, reach out to you guys, take them out to lunch. Say, you know, what's happening with your trade group? Oh, we're having a meeting next month. Oh, is it okay if I come along? And what do? You go to the meeting. You network. You got business cards. You're handing them out, because you got to understand there are no rules in the game of unemployment. Anything goes. Okay. You know, people say, well, you can't do that. No. I need to do it. Okay. This is what I do. You know, and if it works for you, that's fine. If it doesn't work for somebody else, that's okay. That's their issue, not yours. Okay, but you need to focus on what your job is. And your job is getting your job. So I was laid off on November 8th, November 5th on 2008. And from my procedures and from my hustling and getting out there and getting on the street and contacting people and networking and everything else, I was made an offer for a new job on March 2nd. So this is interesting because this is where the title comes in. I didn't make this title of the presentation. In the beginning, on the beginning slide, it said the comeback kid. And one of my colleagues said that to me one day. She goes, how did you get a job in 4 months during the 08-09 economic downturn? Everybody was laying off people and this and that, and you end up getting a job and other people getting fired and laid off. She goes, you're the comeback kid. You got laid off and you came back roaring. And that's what you need to be. You need to be that comeback kid. You want to run up to the top of the steps and put your arms up in victory and say, I did it. Okay. And this was interesting because my buddy up in New Jersey called me up, said I got this company. I reached out to the company. They said, yeah, I'd love to talk to you. Send us your resume, which I did. And they liked it. And they said, okay, well, let's talk about some offers. and they said, can you come in and visit with us? And they're up in New Jersey. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be up in New York next week. I can make a day and come on over and have a face-to-face meeting with you. Now, here's the thing. I wasn't going to be up in New York next week. I had no plans to be up in New York. But when they said, look, we want to make you an offer, come and talk to us, I made sure I got on a plane and I made it up there. Okay, so spent 9 years with Verizon. Great company, great opportunities. Basically, what we did was we helped to enhance their disaster outreach program. Did a lot of traveling, talked to a lot of people. I was engaged with the federal government agencies, Homeland Security and FEMA, all the way down to state and local folks, and then also including private businesses. But there are a lot of lessons learned when you go through a situation like this. Well, what you need to do is continue gaining experience. Okay, you don't want this period of time when you're unemployed to be a blank space on your resume. Okay, continue gaining experience. You want to be out there understanding what's happening, understand the reality. In our business, we've got a lot of disaster planners out there who have never been to a disaster. And I tell people all the time, so if you ever have the opportunity to go to a disaster, go to it. All right, understand it, not for the morbidity part of it, but you need to understand the anatomy of a disaster, what happens, right? So you've got to get engaged in. You've got to keep on reading. You want to keep on networking. You want to keep on being engaged so people see that you're still out there in the industry. Because once people don't see you anymore, they're going to forget about you. Right? Promote your work on high-profile projects at your previous jobs. Oh, I was engaged in this. I was a project lead on this. I was a support role on this. I ran the crisis management team for Office Depot. I managed a recovery after we had to declare disaster and implement all 35 business continuity plans. Promote what you've done. Talk about it. Jazz it up. Make a presentation about it. Speak at a conference about it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'll be honest with you. Doing that public speaking is going to be well worth it for you, because that's going to give you the confidence to speak in front of executives, in front of large groups at your companies. So it does help out there. So promote what you do and get in front of people and let them know what you've done. Not to be cocky about it. Don't make it too much, patting yourself on the back, but talk about how you're going to get yourself engaged. Stay active, as we talked about, gain the credibility. Even right now, I left Verizon 2 years ago. I've got my own consulting business now, but I'm still engaged with the local ACP and business continuity groups here in Florida. I still go to the meeting. I still network with folks, because it's important to do. If you're going to stay active in this industry, stay active, gain some more credibility, let people know what you're doing on your downtime, get some recognition. Get published, utilize LinkedIn, write an article for one of the magazines or for Continuity Insights, and talk about your experiences. I do some freelance writing also. And I have an editor I know. She told me, she goes, Tom, write what you know. Well, you know what? I know disasters, and I can write stories about disasters, about different things. The human side, the financial side, the lessons learned side. Now, I've been to enough disasters where I've learned a lot of things that they don't teach you in the books. And that's what you got to do. You got to be open to taking that, but you also be open to jobs outside your region. As I mentioned, I live here in Florida. Verizon had a job opening in New Jersey. I went out there, I interviewed, I got the job. I didn't have to move to New Jersey. Okay, they said, 50 to 75% of your job is going to be traveling. And you can stay living in Florida. We'll put you in an office. And then when we tell you to get on a plane, get on a plane. I said, fine. And I did that for 9 years. It was great. It really worked out well. The company was instrumental, not just helping my career. We were instrumental in helping others at the worst possible times with communications. But you want to use other things. Do something else. Have a backup plan for your lost income, right? For the reduction of income. What hobbies do you have? Can you turn that hobby into a revenue generator? Okay, does your spouse have a hobby? You do the same thing. Are they working? So you need to have backup plans for loss of business. And if you have enough financial means, but you still want to be active, volunteer. Get over to your local nonprofits. Get over to the Red Cross or other organizations and say, hey, I want to volunteer. I want to be part of the program. I need to be active every day for a couple of days a week. You've got soup kitchens. You've got lines where you're distributing ice and water and food. Go and be part of that because when you put that on your resume, people are going to see that, oh, that span of time when you were unemployed, you went out and you were active in the field, volunteering at different organizations. That's a positive thing. If I saw that on somebody's resume, I'm going to say, okay, I like that. I like that because they didn't just sit back. They didn't think it was a vacation. They took a proactive stance. They were networking even while they were working, right? They were giving back. So there's a lot of positive things about that. And I took my hobby and I expanded my hobby. I'm a freelance writer and photographer. Done a lot of work in the marine industry, and I love taking pictures. Now, I'll take pictures of almost anything. I don't do weddings, not yet, but I'll take photographs of all things. I love shooting at nighttime. I love shooting lightning and things lit up, and I turned that into a business basically because I needed to. I needed to expand that as part of my revenue stream. I needed to let people know I was available. I reached out to magazines. I called up editors. I sent them emails out of the blue, and the lesson learned there was I learned to take no for an answer and know that it was not personal. I reach out to an editor. Hey, I'm Tom. I do this. I do that. I get pictures and that. No thanks. Don't need you right now. Okay. It's not personal. They don't need me. It's a business thing. Move on to the next one. So once you realize that no wasn't a personal thing, I was able to just move on to the next thing. So I was published in magazines worldwide, and my photos have been used in articles and journals and websites and various publications. And the Triton is a paper for captains and crew, and magazines and websites and builders. And I turned my hobby into a business. And I let these people know I was available to work, and I was available to get on boats. And being a captain myself from years ago, I understand which is the pointy end and which is the flat end of a boat. So they said, great, we'd love to have your experience on. Come on in and let's work. And so that allowed me to fill the gap there. And that allowed me actually to do that work while I was working at Verizon. So I need to remember a few things. You need to continue being the master of your domain. You are the CEO of your company. Your job is to find you a job. You are the master of that. Don't look to the family for that. That's your job. Okay? You need to be the master and stay in control of that. Expand the horizons. See what else is out there. See what else is available to you. Okay? Don't be afraid to open doors. Don't be afraid to have a door hit you in the head when they shut it on you. You know what? Because it's not a personal thing. Do it now and don't regret it later. Okay? Too many people say, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. I should have done that 2 weeks ago, or this or that. Don't procrastinate. Get out there. Do it now. Why? Because that great job may be out there now, but if you don't go after it now, somebody else is going to get it. You need to have that edge. What do you bring to the table? Why should I hire you over somebody else? You need to think about that and think about that hard and spend time on that. Right? A lot of folks out there are like, I'm just a programmer. I'm just a planner. I'm just this. I'm just that. No, take that just and turn it around saying, I know this. I've done this. Okay? And you may not think it's an edge, but somebody else might think it's an edge. So go back to that list of strengths and let's start looking at that and see if that can give you the edge over somebody else. You need to think outside the box, right? Look at all the options. There is no box anymore, by the way. Okay, the box is over. The box has crumbled, and we're milling about everywhere, and we're taking advantage of any options that could help us land that next job, right? Because that's what it's all about. And you need to adapt to the new rules of corporate America. America and corporations are going to be very different going forward here, especially with this pandemic. Will we ever go back to the office? Do we have to work from home the rest of our lives? Will our kids ever go back to school? Okay, that's all going to have an impact. Personally, I think we need to go back to the office. We're missing a level of collaboration, face-to-face collaboration with our coworkers. Yeah, you get that on Zoom and meetings and things like that. But you know what? There's nothing like being able to walk over to an office, bounce an idea off somebody that can, light up the light bulb in your head and say, oh yeah, I can do that. We need to do that now. Are we going to have the open work areas and things like that? No, I think that's going away. I think we're going to see more concentrated effort to segregate workers, be it go back to the old cubicles or offices, have 6-foot circles around your desk so people don't intrude on your space, or sneeze guards and plexi walls and stuff like that. I think we need to do that. There may be new rules about when you work. Not everybody's going to work 9 to 5 anymore. We're going to have one group work from 7 a.m. to 2, and another group work from noon to 6, and whatever. But there are going to be some new rules out there, so be ready to adapt to that. maximize networking opportunities, stay engaged, get in with the groups that you were in with before, find new groups. There's a program called Meetup that has all kinds of groups involved in that. A lot of it's social, but some of it may be people that are in your same industry or in your hobby, okay, things like that. Get involved in those. Don't just sit around. Don't wait for that phone to ring, because I'm going to tell you right now, that phone is never going to ring if you're just sitting there. Stay positive. Stay professional. Positive when it comes to talking about your former company, former business, your job, things like that. That's going to go a long, long way. So I've been there. I know what you're going through. I'm glad I could share some of this with you today, because you can and you will survive. Play it right and you will survive. You will thrive, actually, if you do it right and you get to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. If you got questions, you can reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to chat with you on the side. I know you will do it. Take advantage of this. Reach out to folks around you. And give big thanks to Continuity Insights Management Conference for the webinars they're putting together and allowing me to share my experience with you. So let's go with that for now. Give me a holler if you need to chat some more. Good luck to you. Take care. Bye.